Hello friends, today we will talk about how we can build our first MCP server with C Sharp and Semantic Kernel. Right. In this context, I think I should also explain you the concept as per industry, what exactly need. Let's try to understand first concept, right? So here we already have our REST APIs. Let's say each business already running with multiple REST APIs. And now you have a business demand to build an wrapper or build an additional layer on REST API and expose through MCP because we have demand and now we wanted to enable our application with an AI. But how it is possible? And here, it is not mandatory, I would say, to rewrite complete thing and then you prepare another program for MCP. Rather doing that, we can replace our small logic or we build MCP server on top of them. Let's say we have REST API, we don't rewrite this whole logic, but we plug a small or intelligent tool as an MCP server. How it is possible? Let's see. This you can understand, and I hope everybody's know about it well because you already have your current stage is this is your current stage. Here you already have your REST API and those are running well, but now you have a demand to enable it with AI. How do you enable? Because directly, if you expose REST API to LLM or any AI agent, that is also possible because I already recorded a session where you can turn your REST APIs into AI agent. But there is a one drawback. The drawback is in that order you will expose whole API, REST APIs. Let's say if you have a 500 REST API endpoints, then you will expose all 500, although that's not your intention. So here, the idea is how we can expose limited endpoints via MCP so that we can utilize the power of AI in our applications. And here, that's exactly I built in this session. We will add MCP layer which call our REST API and we have a limited endpoints on that. So you can see, let's say if I build a state MCP server, then I expose some or required endpoints only, not full endpoints. How it start working? For example, here you have AI agent. Or the AI, it could be you can use Claude, GPT, your VS Code, or you have your custom AI agent here. And if you have AI agent and you now you connect your agent with the MCP server via MCP client, so you connect it, then it is the MCP client will discover the MCP server's endpoints, or it is called tools, though it would be discovered by it, and then the request goes to your REST API. So here you already provide scripts, limited controlled way that AI can communicate now to your applications without having huge amount of efforts, right? So this is the way that I try to explain in this video today. So the objective of my this channel is not to only explaining you the demo concepts or demo projects, but rather this I believe that you build a knowledge which you can apply from the day one in your industry where you are working. Right now, let's say how practically we can build our first MCP server in C Sharp and Semantic Kernel. That's dedicated for .NET developers. Okay, let me show this to you. I built this in earlier session. I recorded some sessions where I have a REST API and that REST API turned to that's utilized for my AI agent. And here in this project, especially that was my objective. I like to show you how, if you have your REST API project, and how you can enable that small layer as an MCP in your existing REST API. So this built in .NET Core. If you have in the others .NET or .NET Standard, then probably you can use that. Yeah. So there is only change with the Nugget package for MCP, nothing more, right? So to use this, what do you need first? The first demand is we need Nugget package. The Nugget package here is Model Context Protocol. This is the Nugget package for ASP.NET Core. So you can see probably here, this one. Can you see? This is the Nugget package you attach or you apply. Once you apply this Nugget package, then what else you need? Now you need a small wrapper or a layer for MCP server. How? Here, if you can see that these are my controllers. So, and I will not touch my controllers, but I add one tool is called product tool, because I had two controllers. If you remember from my past sessions, there were two controllers. The one controller is for customers and another controller for products, right? That's fetching a data from my SQL Server DB. Here, what I use it using same framework, because if you can see, I just utilize my existing code. And here, this is important whenever you are exposing your tools to MCP server. Please add MCP server tool type on attribute on the class level. So this is the attribute which enable your tools discoverable through this, right? You add this, and whatever methods you are using, please add another attribute MCP server tool. So you can continue to adding this. Once you prepare your layer for MCP server, the next thing is you need to register this in your program file. So when your application running, this MCP server should be enabled. Yeah, how to do that? That's another concern. Let's go to program.cs. In the program.cs, you need a small change. The change is this. Here you can see the service already created. The web application is already created here. What I added, I add another service, builder services, add MCP server with HTTP. This is important, with HTTP transport and with STDI as well. There are two things. If you are running your MCP on the same server and you want to use as standard input output, so that is also possible. You can see over here, um, with HTTP is one of the option. With ST, sorry, with STDIO server transport, this is the one option, and another option we have with HTTP. So generally, if you wanted to expose your MCP with AI agents, then preferably is HTTP transport. So this is the way now your MCP port is listening. Yeah, MCP server will be listen on the dedicated port, and then you will register your tools. Once you add this with HTTP transport, and then with the tools here, you need to register your tool. So let's say I have a tool, product tool, then I register my product tool over here. Okay, this is the way you prepare your service in that order. Now, and at last, you also need to listen, because that's a preferable. If you are building an additional layer for MCP server in an existing web API, REST API, preferably you will add dedicated endpoint for that. So the map MCP is now the this would be the dedicated endpoint for my MCP server. Let's run this. Once we run this, then we able to see that my MCP server is running. How? We'll see this. So this is the only job. So there is no magic, guys. It's so simple. You need step by step process to follow it, and then you able to build. Now I built MCP server with C# and Semantic Kernel. The next thing is the server is running. If you like to see how to see that, where we can see this, because it's not directly you go to your web web server like a web browser and hit, and then you can see it. We can discover MCP server. In the next session, I will also record a session how we can create MCP client to connect my server. But maybe I'm really interested to show you how you can discover this MCP server in VS Code. That is the first interesting point, because otherwise if I leave it here, then maybe you lose your interest how to discover it. So let's try to understand. Now I run this and my MCP server would be available. Here we have two endpoint, one for HTTPS and one for HTTP, right? Let's say if I copy this endpoint and I go to VS Code. So this is the VS Code. You can see you need to press Control Shift P, and then there will be option MCP Add Server. You click on this, it will ask you what kind of MCP server you wanted to add. I said, okay, I want to add HTTP server. That's fine. It says, please enter URL. So let's say MCP and press enter. It will also ask the name. We can say web API. It's asked the name, so you can add your name and then press enter. So you can see the mcp.json file will be created, right? This file will be created. Now be able to see, or this MCP is running. It's already discovered. So beautiful. Yeah, it's discovered. It says there are two tools are available. Very interesting, right? How we can see that? Yeah. So just a minute. Now it says two tools are available and it's discovered the MCP server, it's running. That's fine. Now here I can see, if I go to this is the Copilot. Okay, let me switch off my video. I think that's interrupting you. Hold on, please. Now you can see something. This is the Copilot. Here you can see GitHub Copilot. Here I can see my this mcp.json is attached here, but here I can see my MCP server as well. If you go down, probably you can see that. Yeah, can you see? Two endpoints are available. So two tools are available. Okay, let me check this. How many products I have? So it will now interacting to my program here. Can you see? It's interacting this by MCP and then checking it. Just a wait. Let's see. So it says optimize tool selection. Okay, fine. No, that's not right. Let's see. This means it's not properly running. Yeah. Oh, this is web API. Can you just a minute? Let me see whether tools are added over here or not. I think this is added, but uh-huh, okay, why not? It's adding. Allowing. Let me see. Okay, now it's working, guys. What was the problem? The problem is this VS is not able to detect exactly our MCP server. So what I did, just restart from here. Once I restart, it's able to detect. It says two tools are discovered. Yeah, we don't have any description on our method. That's fine. Once I ask list top 10 products here, so this says, okay, now I'm running it. Do you want to allow this session? Yes, I would say try it out. Yeah, So it will say, okay, I will list out products, allow in this session, it will start working with this. So as you can see, as soon it is working, so now my VS code, this Copilot is checking my MCP server and figuring it out, yeah, based on MCP server, it is reaching to my MCP server. Yeah. So this is the proper way to work on. Let's see. I think some problem is going on. Maybe. So now it is working fine. Uh, I think there was nothing. It's just only the problem with the MCP server. It is not detecting the server. Now it's detect. So what I did, I nothing did special. I just restarted. So now it says, yeah, uh, get all. So it's select all the tool. Here you can see what I ask, and then all the products is available here. I ask how many products I do have. It search my products. So now it's interacting exactly with my APIs. Yeah. Can you show me top 10 products? So let's see. Now it's exactly working with my MCP server, right? So here you can see this agent. Now this agent is working exactly with my web API, and where I expose limited functionality via MCP server, right? So that is guys the beauty of MCP server, right? If I want to see the detail, let's say now I can see show me more details of, it will fetch the more detail of it. So that's a completely responsibility of it. It says, yeah, this means you are referring to this product ID. I says, yes, please go. So that's the way of working. Yeah. It says, okay, it's mismatch. Anyway, it will work on that. It says, all right, this is the product number, and this now it shows the detail of this. This is the product number. That's the cost. That's correct, isn't it? This is MCP server. We build our MCP server on top of our REST API, expose limited functionality, and then we can use it. So now this is, I integrated the MCP server with VS Code, but in next session we can integrate this MCP server with MCP client. So we will build MCP client, right? So here it is using VS Code, but in the next session we will refer more on the custom code. So see you in the next session how to build MCP client which discovers MCP servers. Thank you very much. Continue practice. That's really important. If you are in this era and you really want to grow your knowledge, then please do practice. I will upload this whole code on my GitHub repository. Please refer to GitHub repository, and the repository link will be mentioned in the description of the video. Thank you very much.